I did a piece a long time ago, and it was based on a conversation I had with Eric Vickers, and we used to talk. And then one day I asked him the question, "Are we still a community?" And the longer I thought about it, the more I had to come to the conclusion that we're not.
Right.
Because, and what made us a community was overt white oppression. That
Hmm.
all of the Africans that were forcibly brought here were a disparate group of people. You've been to the continent a couple, three times,
Hmm.
and so you know it's a disparate place. And
Right.
don't the only people talk about Africans or Americans. Okay, uh, just like with you in Europe, you can say Europeans from here, but every country is different. In Africa, it's the same way. So all these people from these different cultures, backgrounds, stuff got thrown together, stripped of their native identity, and had to recreate an identity that was defined by their oppressor. So for 250 years of slavery and 100 years of Jim Crow, we were forced together and we had a response to that. We created community out of that oppression. We became this community, but we don't have a, and we don't have a religion, language, major cultural systems or artifacts that are endemic to us as a people. They were all a function of things that we created as a result of our oppression and being thrown together. Post civil rights, uh, public accommodation bills, voting rights, black people in, let's say, post 1965, black people started to have what everybody else in the country had. They can make individual decisions about what they wanted without having to consider the group. Now, everybody in America had been able to do that, but us, the way we had to think about it is, here's what I want to do, but what does it mean for us? Because you couldn't separate yourself from us. And over time, those bonds that were never really internally ours, but were a result of our chains of oppression, started to break away, melt away, and we started to go in different directions. And there were those of us who were raised in the old way, kind of like immigrants, okay? Your mom and father came here. You was raised in the immigrant ghetto, whatever it was, the Jewish community, Polish, Italian, didn't make any difference. But by the time you can go to school, get a graduate degree, become two lawyers and stuff, you don't live in the same place that your grandmother, that your parents raised. So your kids grow up in a whole different community, and maybe they don't speak Italian or they don't speak Greek. Because I can think about European communities that used to be that you used to know where the community was. Italian community in St. Louis on the Hill. In Detroit, there's Greek town. But as those people stayed here, by the third, and damn sure by the fourth generation, those communities disappear. And that has happened to us. But James Baldwin has an interesting observation. He says to be African American is to be African with no memory and American with no privilege.